Welcome back here to Port Macquarie Regional Stadium for the New South Wales Touch Football Senior State Cup for 2022. And this should be an absolute cracker. The Women's Open A division between the Canterbury Bulldogs and the East Roosters, who will get first use of the ball. James Preston and Carly Banks to bring you all the action. Carly, I'm sure you can't wait for this one.
Yeah, this will be a cracking contest, James. Traditional rivals, the heavyweights of women's touch. For a long time in the 90s and 2000s, it was Canterbury and it was East, and then Manly have dominated the last decade, obviously. But Canterbury have been a constant and have been there and thereabouts. And I'm really looking forward to this contest between these two sides. Canterbury coming off a 3-0 victory over Central Coast, in their first round, and East got the win this morning, first game of the tournament that we commentated, James, 1-0 against Hills Hornets. So yeah, both winners. We'll see how they go here.
Absolutely, and there are some big names across both these sides. If you have a look at the Canterbury Bulldogs, Logan Flanagan sticks out like a sore thumb, for example, and her heroics from last year's State of Origin 2021, the 4 tries in the one match, still ringing very clear in the memory as the Roosters go on the attack here. A 30-minute match with no halftime break. The two sides will simply swap ends if a try is scored. So here come the Chooks with Irons, centre field. Oh, a late pass pop there, but good defence coming across there from Shannon Bissett.
Yeah, interesting little shape there off that ML platform. It's definitely long, so the East coaching box would have probably put that in their back pocket for later on in the game.
Up towards the halfway line now, and good metres on offer here as well as Tandek heads up over halfway. There is that woman that we've been speaking of just before. A little touch off here, Logan Flanagan, who now gets a lovely strike dump as Tandek goes for a run here. Oh, the ball was on, just fell a little bit short there of the run of Kate Phillips.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of that combination, the Claire Tandek, Courtney Young and Logan Flanagan. They're probably the 3 big guns in this Canterbury Bankstown side, and Claire Tandek needs no invitation. Claire Winchester, formerly in the women's Golden Jubilee New South Wales team, and one of the real legends of touch football, not only in New South Wales but Australia.
Very direct passage here from the Roosters up through the middle, drive after drive. Last play now. Can they get a little bit more expansive? Siren, went for the long pass and just over the head there. So both sides asking a few questions to begin with.
Yeah, and really good end-to-end stuff. Like early days yet, but that's what both coaching staffs would be pretty happy to see their teams completing in their first couple of possessions.
Flanagan wrapping around, but they don't use her on this occasion. Heavy contact there, nothing forceful, so all incidental. Referee says play on. As the pressure comes in here from the Roosters defence. Up towards halfway, enter the sub-box in the one motion there. As the transition is a pretty smooth one as well. Oh, the big dummy, and now the pace is on here. Here they go, the doggies. Can she outlast them? Perrott for the line. Oh, Perrott has done a brilliant job. Straight to the corner. She's tip-toed on the sideline, and that's a hell of a way to open the scoring in this one.
Yeah, what a wonderful start for the Canterbury Bulldogs. Fantastic work from Sailor Perrott. Flying on off the back of the latch. Little dummy went through the hole and just had too much acceleration for the East defence.
Well, forget Sailor Moon. Sailor Perrott is the one you want to watch out for. Where's her TV series? 1-0, just over 2.5 minutes played. And the Roosters, who are one of the red-hot teams here at the New South Wales State Cup, now find themselves on the back foot. So the doggies are barking early. Through the middle they come now through Emily Irons. Dropped off on that 7-metre mark. Squadrito, great ball. Oh, have they opened them up this time round?
Yeah, and that's great coaching. The first one they ran off the tap, off that ML platform, they played short, out the back there to the passive, and the long ball's on next time. So interesting to see if they'll continue that sequence.
So one Squadrito for another as the two girls change places here. It is Erin on for Gemma, but a change over there against the Chooks. So here come the Dogs now working away from their own end. Oh, good pressure up in defence now. Were they onside? That's the big question. Referee says yes. They're up very quickly there, so I thought potentially we could have seen another set coming their way.
Definitely, and not getting hands on that ball was Bobby Law from the Newcastle Knights NRLW Premiership winning team. So, yeah, good to see Bobby back playing touch with her Canterbury Bulldogs sisters.
So a straight heart drive there from Emily Irons, but no way through the defensive structure. Bobby Law it was making the touch, that woman you've just talked about, being an NRLW representative, and each and every year it is building and growing the NRLW.
And a premiership winner, mate. Come on, the Newcastle Knights, give them a rap.
I've got to leave that for you. I set them up, you knock them down. And there's an indiscretion with the ball itself, so a changeover here for the Dogs that will just relinquish some of that pressure as, there we go, there is our NRLW premiership winner player, Bobby Law, taking the run. There you go, I'm into it.
Love it.
Wraps around, they get another set to work with here, the Doggies. 4.5 gone. So they head straight towards that sideline once more. Really good run here. Driving hard and picking up 15 metres means the transition is smooth as butter. Here they come now, deep into enemy territory. Flanagan back out there, so the big guns back on deck here for the Canterbury side. They've got them backpedaling. Oh, stepping off the right foot. Great touch coming in from the link position. They want to get on with it very quickly here. They've done a great job to do so. Andy Law sets it up for Flanagan, but once more tracking in desperation. The Roosters somehow survive.
Oh, you've got to love that defence from the East Roosters. So desperate, like 2 times in a row. Great touchdown saving efforts from the East girls, and they're not going to go away at all in this game.
So driving straight and hard is Irons, who's been really impressive so far in this match for the Chooks. Up over halfway they come now through Hallowell Quinn. Good metres on offer once more. Straightening here from Satcher. Satcher now in an acting half. Satcher off the right foot. Oh, couldn't get all the way through though. That was really well tracked in defence from, I think that might have been Enright Bullock.
Yeah, no, it was Courtney Young, and like if there's any person that you don't want to take on from acting half and try and foot race from short side, it's probably that girl. Anyone else, and I think they would have found themselves, down that little short side sort of passage there. So great play, great enterprising play from the Roosters as well.
So Perrott, quick hands, already has contributed with a great try down the sideline. Now hopping in and acting half on that previous play. They're playing at a really frenetic pace here, the Dogs. And they've touched that one there, the Chooks, so another set to play with.
Yeah, nice little run-around play there with Claire Tandak heavily involved. Watch her to control this set of 6, James. She's a master of it down here on this 7-metre line.
There is Tandak. Caught now as Perrott has shifted from wing to now operate as more of a middle here. Tandak diving from distance and got the body up and above the defensive line and scores the try. 2-0 to the Dogs.
Yeah, she is just a class act. Can't speak highly enough of, Claire Tandak and what she brings to any team. Her leadership, her direction, and just her sheer, ability to play the game. She's a class act, and it's a pleasure to watch Claire play.
So 2-0 after 7 minutes. The Dogs have been just about perfect so far. Can't even think of an error they've made.
Yeah, it'll please the coaching staff down there. Peter Forrester, long-term coach, and Glenn Flanagan and Graham Fleming in the box. Like 3 guys that have worked together for a long time at Canterbury and have brought a lot of success to the club. Demaria
links up with Irons. Irons tries to turn them inside and out. Cummins, though, did a great job. In fact, no, she didn't get there in time. So well done, Emily Irons, who I would say has probably been the Chooks' best so far.
Yeah, she was fantastic this morning, James, and she's just come back off the back of that sweeper play. Nice little tight sweeper, direct line, and kicked out at the last second to get the try. So she's a class act, and 2-1.
So just under 8 minutes have passed so far. It's been end-to-end footy. And the Dogs have really asked the Roosters plenty of questions, but they're sticking firm with them so far. Flanagan out of acting half now to Tandak. Tandak back towards the middle. Bobby Law, great quick hands. Courtney Young with a floating pass over the top. What a try this would be. It's building nicely, but once more, great cover defence, this time from Renee Quarry. Back to the 7-metre mark they go. This is really high-quality action from both sides. Tandak off the left foot. The touch comes in. Law again floating over the top. This time intercepted. The crowd's right into this one as well, and they've called them offside.
Yeah, Keely Silver picked that one really, really well, but she was definitely offside. But now this is trouble now with all the big guns out here for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs.
Yep, Tandak, Young, Flanagan, Law, they're all on deck indeed. Here is Flanagan now. Flanagan, quick hands for Young. Young promotes the footy nice and early, and Kate Phillips, this time they won't deny her. 3 tries to 1, the Dogs are in again.
Yeah, fantastic piece of play there. like we said, the big guns are on. Flanagan dummied the quickie, couple of steps, brought them in. Great line on the out by Courtney Young, and, did the rest with the draw and pass. But, yeah, that's experience, and that's great combination, and that's great coaching, having the key players on at the important times to get the touchdown when required.
So ask and you shall receive is what the message was there from the Dogs. They wanted to try to put that little buffer back in place there. All the big guns are out there, and they did indeed produce a result. So about a third of the way through this match now. The Roosters with work to do. There's no one there.
Yeah, they're a bit clunky. Yeah, they're a bit clunky. They need to keep running, and the Dogs just keep coming at them, trying to make these touches right outside the 8. Look how far out they are, James. It's very difficult to mount an attack that far out.
Satcher, long ball now floating it wide, but very well tracked in defence. Coming across there was Enright Bullock.
Interesting penalty for offside, because I felt like the Dogs were pressing so far out, but referee's obviously seen something that we didn't see. So here we go with a repeat set. Now, they were really good in the first game with their repeat set, the Chooks, so let's see if they can be just as constructive here. Nice little reverse quickie line.
Well, Siren nearly had them in a spot of bother.
Yeah, she needed to keep diving at the line. She had them on skates and just needed to get low and dive for the line there, James.
Here she is again. Siren and now Satcher on this left-hand side. Pops it back towards the middle here with Hallowell Quinn. Drops it off on the 7-metre mark. Hallowell Quinn has left it behind, though, and the crowd's really getting into this one too. It's good to see.
Yeah, two of New South Wales touches, like flagship clubs, like with lots and lots of, history in the sport. So it doesn't surprise me that we've got so many supporters, for both groups out there. Andy
Law took that previous run. Now Enright Bullock comes forward and is caught on that halfway line. They'll fire it off a little further now. Flat pass, no real pressure there. So that one was an interesting error there from the Dogs, because we've seen them produce some spectacular plays, and that was quite simple.
Yeah, and sometimes this sort of happens, that you get off to a really good start. You come out and it's all guns blazing for the first, 5 or 6 minutes, and then we get into a little bit of thing where we settle, and then it's important to really consolidate with your game plan. So I'm sure that Peter Forrester and Glenn Flanagan will be over there just making sure that the girls, complete their set the next time they get an opportunity.
I think they've just marched the subs box a little further away from the sideline there. There were plenty of girls that were right on the edge, and it was causing a bit of confusion for the sideline officials. So just getting things back in check as Smith promotes it before receiving it back towards that middle. Maddie Mitchell now drops it off. They've got them backpedaling. Well recovered, though, in defence there from the Dogs. Back to that 7-metre mark they go now. Irons.
Yeah, I think they're trying for this ML platform again if they can. Oh, yeah.
They called that one not being played square.
Didn't get over the ball, I think, was what they were looking at there, James. So you've got to make sure that you actually step over the ball, and I think that was what the ruling was.
So Bobby Law now provides a pass here for Keely Silver. Perrott once more, who's already caused problems for this Roosters side, is on the charge. Great little roll ball there. All flat pass from Bobby Law. However, it's still on here for Cummins. Cummins flicks it back on the inside. Silver. Now Law. Law needs to get a quick release. It's a bit of a floater, though. Phillips is caught.
Yeah, not a preferred side, the left to right there from Bobby. You might have to give her a little bit more skills training. Used to do it in her formative years when she was coming through the ranks. So, yeah, she won't be happy with that effort there. But the Roosters have escaped, and I think Julie so, James. I think there are a couple of things that the referee probably could have called that set back on, so I'm glad that they didn't sort of pay a penalty with a try there, because I thought that would have been a little bit hard done by.
Demaria now in at acting half, has to release, though. Eventually she does. Sailor Perrott, though, once more comes up with a touch, and on this occasion is called offside. So another chance here for the Chooks with about 17 on the clock.
I think we'll see a couple of quickies early and then into that ML platform. That has almost paid dividends for them. Oh, coach killer, right there. Kay Banks has just hit the floor. I'll just regain consciousness.
I mean, look, I was going to offer CPR, but you've done it yourself, so well done. Up towards the sideline they come now. Law with a nice charging run there. You don't want to get in the way of her when she's full steam ahead. She's earned her side a penalty too, so another set to play with as Flanagan comes back into the action along with Young and Tandex. So this is the danger part here for the Roosters. If they can get within striking distance, there is going to be plenty of questions that are asked of this Chooks line.
Yep.
Young, short ball, jamming in was Christopher. However, it has produced a bit of an opportunity here for Tandek, who's dumming all over the place. It's like a pacifier store, there's that many dummies.
That's right. She's very active, Claire Tandek, and she's only just started in this set, so here we go on the sweep again.
Here's Tandek once more, looking to set them up. Oh, Courtney Young kept the line beautifully. Tandek, how about the delay on that? She's got all the time in the world and produces absolute perfection. Try time for the Dogs.
Yeah, super selective pass from Claire Tandek, showing her class. Just really good sweeper run one side of the field, come back the other. Nice little inside ball, and the ever-present Courtney Young always on the spot. And now the Dogs have kicked out to a 4-1 lead. Really important for East now, James, to stay in contact and get back on the board fairly soon.
Here is Siren. They do need to be next to score you fancy. There's still plenty of time in it, but you don't want to be chasing a margin of 4.
And not against a team like Canterbury, who when they've got their foot on your throat, they just keep coming.
That's very violent, Carly Banks. Graphic.
The Bulldogs at their best, that's what they're like, mate.
Cut our pass.
Men's,
Look,
women's.
It might have just been because I've watched the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix. Maybe that's...
Oh,
I know.
I was too scared. I couldn't watch it. Even the song now, I like the song for the theme. But, but now I can't watch it because I'm thinking serial killer. Can't do it.
I mean, it's not the first point of reference I think of when I'm commentating a football game, but thank you, Carly Banks. That's just great. Up towards halfway, the Dogs come now. And back to the open side. Touches on here. Enright Bullock supplies it. Off to Bissett. Quick hands here once more from Canterbury. Bissett back towards the middle. It's still alive. Keely Silver dancing in the middle of the field. Can't get away from it. And that was almost a move you'd see at Finian's tomorrow night. So they'll roll it here. And off they march now. Through Christopher. Satcher plays it about 6 or 7 short of the halfway line.
Yeah, these first 3 are quite clunky from the Roosters, but this back end's looking a lot better in terms of like the set finish.
Still got them backpedaling now. That could have gone either way for me. I don't think they retreated enough of the distance, but referee was happy by the end of it.
Yeah, well read, James. I definitely think that too. I think that, the 7 metres is probably needs to be increased in that midfield area, and I'm sure the referees, coaches, stuff are all over it, but that will not help the East Roosters cause at all, giving away a piggyback penalty here for the Canterbury Bulldogs because they need no invitation to get on the front foot here.
So Canterbury already in the ascendancy, 4 tries to 1 with 13.5 on the clock. Now work it forward through Perrott. I think that was a good call there from the referee.
Yeah,
there was
perfect.
an indiscretion from both sides on that occasion. So play on it was. Bobby Law off the right foot, picks up good meterage. Now Flanagan. Flanagan, lovely short pause. She's also now managed to work a strike dump. Here comes Phillips. Phillips is in again.
Yeah, classy work from Logan Flanagan, but Bobby Law, take a bow, came back on the sweep, stepped, managed to get a great strike dump for Logs to pick up. She summed it up really well with a little bit of phase play. As soon as it was there, Logan Flanagan, right to left, you're not going to stop that, and just classy finish, and 5-1 to the Doggies.
And a really versatile player, Logan Flanagan. We've seen her at State of Origin level spend a lot of time on the wing, for example, also some time in link, but today she's been operating as both a link and a middle.
Yeah, in the women's game, she's a dead set link and one of the most experienced links, out there in the women's game. And she's really put a game together well. She came to this Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs team when she was about 16 years old. So, she's grown up in this team, and at 25 now, she's controlling things, out there and is one of the senior players that they go to the well on, and so they should. Got all the skills in the game and, producing great stuff for the Dogs.
So Kewen has left that one behind, and a change over here for the Dogs as Perrott promotes the footy and they continue heading towards that sideline. And the transitions have been really good so far in this match. Can they continue it here? Yes, they can, because Logan Flanagan drives forward and picks up huge metres here. Tandek is out there now, and Young. So once more the big guns threatening the Roosters line. Tandek driving forward, but a really good piece of defence there from Ava Kewen.
Yeah, and Claire just asking the question about the 7, and I think that is that both teams, the 7 is a little bit skinny and probably needs to be, a little bit better. And boy, that's not going to help the Roosters at all here. You can hear the Jaws music theming in the background here, James. This is scary stuff now for the East Roosters.
It's not the Cronulla side, Carly Banks. Come on, it's the Dogs. I need Who Let the Dogs Out. If you can start singing that, I'll be very happy. Here they go. Oh, good cover defence, though. Very well done. In fact, they're going to say she didn't get there. Well, there's a few boos coming out from the crowd. It was very touch and go. We don't have the benefit of a replay here, but that was close.
Yeah, and great to see Kelly Silva go over the stripe. She's been overseas and been away for a little bit, so good to see her back, playing for Canterbury and doing what she does best. And she's a class act, and she's another really, really good, addition to this Canterbury side.
10 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. The Roosters need to be the next to score. The margin is now out to 5, 6-1 in favour of the Dogs. And pressure is beginning to mount. Long cutout ball. It's a beautiful pass too, just left behind. She had eyes on the encroaching defender in the form of Enright Bullock, and that was enough to put her off.
Yeah, and it can be quite intimidating when you're playing a side like Canterbury. This is a very young East Roosters side compared to the sides that they've had in previous years, where they're very experienced. And this Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs side has, youth and experience, and that is one of the most troubling combinations that you can have, if you're trying to make your mark in the game. And these guys are just trying to stop the bleeding as much as they can, because they're on the march again. And there's Bobby Law.
Oh, beautiful interchange of passing, Law to Law. They're writing their own legal textbook. And that one is textbook touch footy. It's try time for the Dogs once more. 7-1. The Law sisters killing it.
Yeah, grew up in the Nelson Bay area, Andy and Bobby, and they would have honed that in the backyard and on the beaches of Nelson Bay. Don't worry about that. Nice little wraparound play, and then they got it off to Alexandra Chung, who does a fantastic job for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Goes unsung, does a lot of the work through the middle, for her team, but nice to see her get on the score sheet too, James.
In the last 5 minutes or so, this one has really blown out. It was quite a tight contest up until that point, but 3 quick tries now have the Dogs in cruise control here, 7-1. And they'll get another set to play with and work it away from their own line without any pressure being built as well, importantly, from the Roosters.
And the thing is that East haven't done too much wrong here, James. It's just they're running into the juggernaut that is the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. It's the same when teams come up against sides like Manly, etc. Those guys are really good sides. And I think this penalty's going to go against Logan Flanagan, because I think there was, definitely. She came in with a big don't argue, and Logs is a very physical player, but, that was just one of those things, and it was good refereeing there to pick that one up.
Yeah, heavy contact off the back of Flanagan there, and might need the help of one of our sponsors here today, Skins, just to try and recover off the back of that, but this is do or die now for the Roosters. They must get a result this set, you fancy, if they are any chance of staging a comeback here. Of course, no drop-offs just yet in the group stages. We'll save that for our finals day on Sunday, thanks to Budgie Smugglers. 7 metres away from the try line. Here comes Kewen. Kewen started stepping, got around Young. Beautiful play there from Ava Kewen, who goes in 7-2.
And that was really good refereeing. Courtney's not happy, but basically, and it is one of those positions, because the Lynx are always looking to strike that out ball, James, and sometimes they haven't quite made the line, and that was really great refereeing, because the referees have to have their peripheral vision going when those things are happening, because they like to creep and knock it off. So that was beautiful refereeing there, and I think exactly the right call was made. So, and it gives the East Roosters a little bit of heart, again, at 7-2. That gives them heart for the next game and sort of moving forward. I know there's still 7.5 minutes, but the idea now is to just keep building sets and try to build pressure. Stop this juggernaut that is the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs from scoring this set and get up the other end. And that's a great stop. Yeah,
well jammed in from the link position. Once more, Emily Irons, who we've mentioned a couple of times, probably the standout performer so far from the Roosters across both matches for that matter.
Yeah, and she's so consistent, isn't she, James? You've just hit on it very, very nicely there, both in attack and defence. She never stops trying for a team, and every single sub that she gets out here, she gives 100%. Even if it's bringing the ball to the box and getting off, she comes off with a lot of intensity. Very impressive young player.
Squadrito comes forward. Now I think they'll get another set here, the Roosters. Yes, they will. So a bit more than just heavy contact when the ball's spilt free. So
yeah, and Canterbury are one of the most physical teams in the women's game, as are like in Manly. All the big guns definitely play the game hard, and sometimes the referees just need to be reminded that it is pretty tough out there. But the girls are doing everything that they need to, and that's a great effort. That is so close to a try. She has been sensational with her dive. She gets herself a little bit lower, that's a try. So it's a bit of a trademark at the moment that she drives a little bit higher. If she gets down into that slidey position and gets a little lower, she probably would have scored that one.
I don't know if that was me, I would have been feeling sore and sorry for the next 3 or 4 days with the impact of the ground, but Emily Irons is made of exactly what her last name is. She didn't feel it a bit. Great ball over the top. Oh, that's absolutely superb. Rifled from left to right by about 15 metres into the waiting arms of a wing partner, and the Roosters maybe just have a little sniff now. 7-3 the Dogs lead.
Yeah, fantastic long ball from Thomas Sawyer. Is that what you're saying, name?
Tomasio.
Tomasio. There you go. Yeah, pronunciation, not my strong point at this point. But yeah, what a ball. Left to right. Spotted that the Canterbury Bankstown defence was very, very compressed. And there's the long ball. So let's see if that's a sign of things to come, James, for the rest of the game.
So just over 5 minutes. If they can somehow come up with a try in the next 30 seconds or so, there might still be an opportunity. But Logan Flanagan says, good night, Irene. What a ball that is into the waiting arms of Enright Bullock. And that is all she wrote, baby.
Yeah, Logs is having a day out. That's a fantastic setup. Credit to her teammates giving the strike dump, dragging the middle off centre, and really messing up the spacings that the East Roosters had sort of set for their defensive line. And then, just clinical, right to left or left to right. Logan's got a long ball both sides, and she's just definitely putting it on display here today. And this is a really impressive performance by the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs.
So 8-3 on the Port Macquarie Regional Stadium scoreboard. 4.5 to go. So they pop the ball back through the middle here. Tony DeMaria. Squadrito now. DeMaria back in and acting half. They overran her there. Irons wanted a quick wrap around, but it was a little too quick for DeMaria's liking. Now here she is, Irons. Irons diving at the men. Gets her legs above the touch. I think she's evaded it here.
Oh, I thought they were offside, and I think that's the call that they're going to make. They're either going to give the penalty or they're going to give the try, in my opinion. Oh.
Well, they've called the touch has been affected. So last play now, Irons has been denied twice in a row. Pops a great pass. But they're going to call her back once more. So Emily Irons can't take a trick at the moment.
She can't, but boy, she's an impressive player. When she's out there, things are going to happen. And I love watching this kid. She's outstanding. And really unlucky there because I felt the play before that I didn't have an issue with the touch being made, but I felt like that they didn't get onside. So that would have been what I was sort of thinking. But anyway, more eminently qualified people than me have the whistle in their hands, James. So we'll run with that.
That is the case. We had Luke Heckendorf in here a little earlier who said he's controlling 5 different matches today. So there's a lot of football. These referees do a great job of getting through and making sure all the right calls are made as Young's gone to deck here.
Yeah, brilliant play there from Bobby Law, who's skied through the East Roosters defence and just denied when she was trying to find Young in the end goal. So she's in fine form. The switch to rugby league has not hurt Bobby too much at all in terms of being able to turn around and get yourself ready for touch, because that's always the toughest thing for our rugby league and our touch girls is sort of coming back to touch after having to bulk up a bit and be a little bit more strong to play league. Sometimes it sort of takes away that speed off the mark that you've got, but Bobby's showing absolutely no signs of that today. So yeah, great work and great to have him back. Switching between the codes and coming back to touch, which is fantastic, and showing how much their first love really means to them in terms of playing touch for a long time, because she is one of the best young players, had represented New South Wales in the 20s, and to come through and then play rugby league, it's a great wrap again for our sport and what we do for rugby league.
Absolutely. She's a supreme athlete, that's for sure. As Flanagan, who is also up in that category, fires a beautiful pass here, looking for Enright Bullock again. It worked last time. The two are on the field together. Trying to do it once more here. Inside the last 2 minutes we come. 8-3, the score remains in favour of the Dogs. Flanagan called out initially before retreating the required distance. Midway through the count here for the Chooks, and up over halfway they come. Short pass now for Xanthi Christopher. Squadrito comes centre field. A little bobble, but that's play on. That's the call. Squadrito on the last now. They've got them backpedaling. Here's a good opportunity for the Chooks, but Andy Law's done a great job to track
Offside.
enough in time, but initially offside, and so no advantage there for the Roosters. With just over a minute on the clock, they'll try and go for a consolation try here.
Let's see if the Chooks can get over the stripe. They deserve to. Oh, they're there.
Demario with a quick little ball there. Have they done enough to get all the way through? There might be a touch they call here.
Oh, the referee's coming in and he's going to call the touch. I was pretty happy that was down. Offside. Offside. Yep. She's going to award it.
So there we go. It's taken a little while. The delay was there, but so too is the try. 8-4, so a little bit more respectable, this end score line here. There'll be another 30 seconds or so on the clock. Scoring might not be done with just yet, but that's better for the Chooks.
Yeah, James, they haven't played badly. They're a young team and they're on their way, and they will get better during this tournament. Remember, you're playing against what I consider, the top two teams. Between them and like Manly, they're the two heavyweights, of women's touch. And you run into them and you come away with a scoreline like that. That's not a bad thing, particularly in the manner that they've competed.
Law to Tandek off the left foot. 5 seconds to go. Maybe one final play, and Tandek says, that's fine by me. I'll set up one more. Don't you worry. It's a hat-trick for Kate Phillips. At 9-4 is the end scoreline here. A great bit of play there from Claire Tandek.
Yeah, fantastic performance all around from the Dogs. I mean, the likes of, Tandek, Bobby Law, Logan Flanagan, Courtney Young, Andy Law, they're all contributing great things to their team at the moment, and they're already looking in good shape. I mean, long way to go in the tournament yet, of course, James, but impressive from them, and from East, fantastic performance from them. Loving some of their young players. I mean, Halliwell Quinn's got, some fantastic skills about her. There's people that compete all day long. Emily Irons, fantastic. They've got a long way to go in this tournament too, so it'll be interesting to see if how they progress for the rest of the time.
Absolutely, and Kelly Banks, you'll be here with me for the next match as well. We move to the Mixed Open A's division, and the local side is in action next. The Port Maco's taking on the Penrith Panthers, so this should be an absolute cracking fixture. And let's not forget as well, there's a bit of a Panthers connection here in Port Macquarie. We do have Port Macquarie Panthers too, so there's all sorts of stuff happening. Don't go too far. This one between the Port Maco's and the Penrith Panthers in the Mixed Open in about 5 minutes' time on Bar TV and New South Wales Touch Football.